So we're just starting on the RV. We're going to redo the roof. We're taking the whole roof off, and we're going to replace the roof and also replace some of the fans and the vents and the air conditioning unit that we got from our trailer website. And right now we have to take this whole awning off, and this is the man to do it. What do we have to do here?
So we're going to take this little piece off right here on both sides, so that we can take this rubber gasket off right here.
I can't see the rubber gasket.
So this is the rubber gasket that's right here. You can't really see it, but it's right here. This rubber gasket here, so we can take off this channel, because the membrane is screwed on underneath this channel. So we're taking this off all the way down.
So this awning has to come off before we can get to that part. So this will be fun.
Okay. So we're going to try to see if we can just take this guy off right here and let this hang down a little bit so that we don't have to remove the whole awning. It seems like there's a channel lock that's holding just your awning part of it. So if we can get away with that, then we don't have to worry about all this awning being removed.
So we're taking these membranes off the side here. These things, you just unscrew them, and then the little, what was that little rubber part that was in there?
Oh, it's just a plastic rubber guard thing.
You have to take that rubber guard off, but we have to reuse that one because our kit didn't come with replaceables.
No. Yep.
So here we are, almost done with this, and then we'll just roll this sucker right off this roof. One of the things about doing this that's more difficult, the way we're doing it, is that we're actually on site. We can't really take this RV anywhere because we're actually building it to be, well, not building it, but upgrading it to be more stable. It's out here on this property, which is really hard to get to with a normal car. So we have to do everything on site, and like we just realized, some of the plywood or the luan is coming off with the ceiling or the roof part there. So we may have to go into town to replace the luan with some heavier plywood and maybe put some better insulation on the top. But this is where we're starting, with the top down. And there's Anthony pulling that off like a champion.
Trying not to fall over.
As you can see, the luan basically came off onto this. So whatever glue they used was pretty good. It's still sticky.
There we go.
Pulling this roof off. Oh boy, it's pretty sticky, and some of the wood is coming with it, you can see. So we're debating on whether replacing the real thin plywood here with some, what was it, 1/2 inch?
Yes.
So we could actually get up here and walk and maybe sit up here and watch the stars. It's not easy. And there you have it. The roof membrane is off. And the problem we have here is all this little dust and dirt is sticking to this. So it'll be even more difficult to just get a new membrane on here. It'd be easier to just replace all this wood. And I think that's what we're going to do. So we're going to go into town, see if they have some plywood. It's a small little town, so we don't know if they'll have any.
All right, so we've taken all of this off right here. Obviously, we need to pull out the staples from here, and then we'll go ahead and put our 1/2 inch sheet of plywood on top of this. We'll screw it down. I'm gonna pilot hole it and then screw it so that we don't run the chance of ripping this or breaking it. And then we'll trim off the edge on that side once it's all done. Then we'll just work our way down this way and that way.
And we're gonna add this for extra insulation. Yeah, it's even got spiders in there.
Yay!
Yeah. All right, so we got one of them all done. We just have to cut the edges over there, but it's a much sturdier wood than whatever the heck they use. And they use the light wood because these things are, you know, they're meant to be light and pulled with a truck. And we don't need to pull this thing, so we're putting extra insulation down and new wood. What kind of wood is this?
This is Ranger board.
Ranger board?
Yes.
Yeah, they didn't have the
Plywood
that we wanted, so we just had to go with this because we had no choice. Yeah. Out here in the middle of nowhere, that's what we got. We got 2 of them in, and 4.5 to go. 2.5, I meant.
The same thing here. Those freaking Mexicans.
Hey!
What? Oh, I'm sorry. What a great job.
Okay, so we're on our third one here. And just wanted to get a video showing us putting down the Reflectix. It's kind of a supplement to the insulation there that's already there. That insulation is not so grand, but the Reflectix will do a pretty good job of keeping the heat in as long as there's air between, you know, there's a space between the Reflectix and say the wall. So we're just putting that in before we lay the 4x8 on top of it, and that's kind of what it looks like. Okay, so we have to take that hole and put right here into our new board. And what's the little thing you're using there?
Oh, it's just called a 1.5 inch auger. Some people call it paddles. Now, the challenge with this is
You widen the hole, right?
yep. Make it a little bit bigger.
So here we are, we've got it all done. All the plywood is up and we're just trimming the edges off. And we are running out of daylight. So we got to do this quick. So hold on, before we do this one.
Yeah.
All right, quick pointers. When we did this, pointer number 1.
Yeah. The plywood you want to do one at a time. Don't pop it all off because there's more potential for the weakness on the 2x4s or the 2x1s, depending on what they have, and you can fall through it. So just do one at a time as you're going all the way out. That way you at least can have something to walk on or catch yourself on. Yes. Always make sure that whenever you're putting in your new, you want to measure, because they're not always true 16 center on all of these. Some of these are 16 and 5/8. Some of them were 17 inches. So you want to make sure that you measure like every foot as you go down, so that you accommodate your screws to your bowing, or you'll get really frustrated.
And then the membrane, we got it laid out. We laid it out and then we rolled it up from that side and rolled it up from this side so that it matches right here in the middle. So what we're going to do is when we're done with these, we're gonna put the glue down on one side and then roll it from this side, and then put the glue down on the other side and roll it this side. That way it keeps it from, you know, if we mess up or whatever. But we got plenty of extra, so we just want to get it straight and even the whole time. So that's what we're gonna do. So we're getting the membrane ready to put on. We're losing daylight, so we're doing as fast as we can. Running out of breath. So we're gonna do this side first and then roll that one that way. And so we're just getting the glue on with a roller and one of those extensions. Actually works a lot better. I guess don't try to do this with a roller on your knees. You're gonna get all stuck. So we got the membrane on last night, and we just ran out of time today just because we both have jobs. So we caulked the front, we finished this part up here, you know, put the gasket back on and the screws and caulked it, but everything else we just put in temporarily. As you can see, we just kind of screwed them in temporarily because we have to get another gasket and replace some of these screws that were in there originally because they're full of caulk and disgusting. But here's the roofing, and we put in the 2 vents and caulked them in, so now we don't have to necessarily put a cover on the RV. We'll probably have to come back in a couple weeks or so. So there it is. Part 2 coming soon.
Gourd head. That's pretty much it.